Hey everyone, well it's that time of year again, comes twice a year. This was the Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black Friday sale, and package finally came. I really hate FedEx, so this ended up shipping out last Thursday. FedEx estimated that it would get delivered on Saturday. It doesn't get delivered until Tuesday. Now that's not a bad turnaround time. That's like 5 days from, Connecticut to here. That's fine. I just wish FedEx didn't completely overshoot their delivery date every single damn time that they're sending something out, but whatever. So anyway, I did the flash pre-order and then I added a couple other goodies to it. So without further ado, let's open this puppy up. Got my Scream knife here. And if you're interested in Scream, feel free to look at episodes 2 and 3 of my recent audio-only podcasty type series that I'm calling Leninhawk Talk, where I'm spelling the word talk incorrectly so that it almost rhymes with my fake internet last name. I talk about Neve Campbell not coming back because of money reasons, and it supposedly being set in New York City now, and all of that good stuff. And if you have any idea of topics you'd like me to cover in an audio-only setting, let me know. But we're here to do Vinegar Syndrome unboxing, so there's all the goodies in bubble wrap. And let's just sort of take it from whatever I can actually get out of here first. Okay, so first things first, this was part of the flash pre-order, so it was a May release. This is Scared to Death. This was one of the secret titles. It wasn't very secret, a lot of people had guessed it, but it was one of the secret titles, and I believe it's sort of a monster, not necessarily an Alien ripoff, but of that kind of type. I think it might be from the same guy who made Creature as well, anyway. Front of the slip, back of the slip. Let's see. What extras we got on here? So this is scanned in 4K from the 16mm camera negative. Love 16mm. A commentary track with writer-director William Malone, and then 2 of the actors. Then there is Rise of the Singanor, I assume that's the monster in the movie. A brand new making-of documentary featuring interviews with writer-director William Malone, the 2 actors on the comedy track, the makeup supervisor, the effects artist, a different actor, and then 2 other actors as well. There is a featurette revisiting the locations with director William Malone, and then there is a music video, Scared to Death by Dracula Party. Okay, sure. Yeah, not bad. I've heard decent things about the film. I did like Creature, so if it's along the lines of Creature, then I'm sure to like it. And then next we have one of the other surprise titles, a movie I'd never heard of, and if I'm being honest, not very looking forward to. Voyage of the Rock Aliens, which is apparently a sci-fi musical. The back of the slipcover says the story of a guy, a girl, and an alien, ... and the one night they will always remember, which could also describe an adult feature that Vinegar Syndrome might put out. But here's the little, back cover, which is a bunch of little, isolated things there. And the front has that. And let's see what extras we got on this. This is newly scanned in 2K from the 35mm interpositive. And then we have another extended making-of documentary, Embarking on a Voyage, which has interviews with Michael Berryman, executive producer, a wardrobe assistant, the co-screenwriter and co-producer, special effects artist, and the miniatures artist. Alright, well, there's miniatures and stuff. Maybe I'll like it after all. I don't know. I've heard okay-ish things about it. And then an extended featurette with members of the band Rima. I assume they did some of the music in here. Yeah, so it's a sci-fi musical. I don't know, maybe this is like The Apple? I don't know. I think I had heard that Richard O'Brien did some stuff in this, but I don't actually think that's true. Pia Zadora's in it, though. That's always a sign of quality there. Craig Schaefer is in it, yeah. So I don't know, maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be kind of like The Apple or something, which is just the go-to bonkers sci-fi musical that I think of. And then, VSA that I picked up. There were two VSAs. One was a Billy Blanks thing, and after I hated TC2000, decided to steer clear of that. But this one had George Clooney in it, so I picked it up. It is Red Surf. There is one side of the cover there. There is the other side. I think you can see this is George Clooney. So that's his likeness. Out of the 5,000 run, I have 2,306. If the camera wants to focus on that, I'm not sure if it will. Probably not. Oh, well, take my word for it. That's what the number is. This seemed, I guess this came out before Point Break did, but it has like surfing and I've heard it's not as much of an action movie as it was being sold as, but I know there's a famous scene where George Clooney just like shoots a guy in the head. But let's see what we got here. This is scanned in 4K from the 35mm negative. There's a commentary track from the producer, an interview with that same producer, an interview with one of the actresses, Dee Pfeiffer. I think that's Michelle Pfeiffer's sister, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Interview with the casting director, and a poster. So not too much in the way of extras, but I thought this seemed like it could be fun. So I sort of like the cheesy action movies that they sometimes put out in VSA. I liked Whatever It Takes quite a bit. I liked the Frank Stallone one. What was that? Savage Harbor. So, yeah. And then this is a VSU, I believe. Oh, they sent me a little postcard as well. Didn't order that, but Vinegar Land, greetings from Bridgeport, Connecticut, where the archive is. Okay, that's cool. There's no code on it or anything. I don't think that's the translucent slip that we ordered. So this is, yeah, VSU number 3. It is Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger is a sort of a hard-edged kids movie. I believe it's about like secret agents tracking down a kid, and the kid found something in a video game or something. This box got a lot of shit when it was first shown because people didn't like the artwork, but I think it pretty well replicates the look of the old arcade cabinet, or even sometimes the box art on a Atari cartridge. But that's the front there. You got the side. The back has this Steven Spielberg looking dude. Yeah. And then it has the normal magnetic clasp that these VSUs do. Oh, that's funny. It's an embossed thing that feels like a price tag. But we have the inside there, which looks like almost a graphic from an old school arcade game. And then the slipcover itself, on the inside with the ribbon, it says Game Over. I believe that was the preview image before they announced the title, and some people thought the movie was going to be joysticks, even though it didn't fit the description. We have a little bit of a booklet. It says like confidential on it, so it's almost like a video game instruction manual. Though I don't think they had manuals like that for Atari. But there's some interesting artwork. I won't spoil it for those of you who would like that there. But then we have this Atari cartridge looking thing. I really like the fake price tag there. And here's the back. The back also lists like cast and special features on it, which is interesting. Well, actually it doesn't. It's just sort of fake special features, but it does have the cast and the director on it. And then here's, this looks like an actual cartridge, like outside of the box or whatever. It's in 4K, so. But let's see what we have here. So it is restored from the 35mm negative. I mean, it's in 4K, so probably. And then on the extras, which are all on the Blu-ray, well, the commentary track is also on the 4K, but as far as that, we have commentary track with screenwriter Tom Holland, moderated by Joe Lynch. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Konami Codes and Cult Classics, Programming Cloak and Dagger, a brand new extended making-of documentary, which has interviews from Tom Holland, the screenwriter, one of the actors, casting director, the art director, second assistant director, and an actress. Then there's an interview with Henry Thomas, from E.T. and whatever. He's also the kid in this. An archival interview with director Richard Franklin. I believe he's passed away. An archival Q&A with Richard Franklin from 2001. Behind-the-scenes still gallery, location featurette, and a mini doc about the Atari game by the Vintage Arcade Gal. That's kind of cool, plus TV spots. So, decent number of extras there. This nice handsome packaging to go with it. So I've never seen this film, so I don't have any nostalgia for it of any regard, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. And also, this is a Universal film, so this, along with Drop Dead Fred, might be noticed that we're getting some more Universal movies, just like they've been getting MGM movies at Vinegar Syndrome, so we'll see. And then this is, the Great Miami Connection, which of course I have seen. I've seen it in the theater, albeit the Riff Tracks version, but yeah, Miami Connection is one of the top-tier, so-bad-it's-good movies. Mostly because it is so good-natured and funny and ridiculous and ill-conceived with some very catchy, not good songs. But it's basically, yeah, it's a kung fu type movie. So it's got a hard case, much like Ticks or some of the movies like that have had come out. So we got the hard case there. That's the front there. It's very busy. I think this is one of those Dude Design ones where it's always very busy. And then on the back it's Dragon Sound, the band within the movie. And then we have our slipcover, which is very close to the old Draft House Films Blu-ray cover. I never owned it on Blu-ray, by the way. I never owned that Draft House releasing, so this isn't like a pre-order double dip for me. I haven't owned this movie before. But, yeah, that's the other side of that. And then we have the 4K case. So let's see. This is restored from the recently unearthed 35mm interpositive. So it's a 4K from an interpositive, but apparently they had. I believe the old release was struck off just from a 35mm release print they had found. So finding the interpositive is just 1 degree better. So not that people are watching Miami Connection for the grand vistas and visuals, but it'll be nice to see what the upgrade kind of looks like there. And let's see, there is a commentary track with the producer and star Y.K. Kim, as well as the writer and star Joseph Diamond. And then on the Blu-ray, we got Resurrecting the Dragon, Looking Back, a extensive making-of documentary, which has Y.K. Kim, a couple of the actors in there, the sound editor, the composer, and a production assistant. Friends for Eternity, a making-of documentary from 2012, so an earlier documentary. Dragon Sound Reunion, a 25th anniversary concert from Fantastic Fest 2012. The New American Dream, archival Y.K. Kim promotional video. Who is Y.K. Kim, an archival promotional video about him as well. The re-release trailer from 2012. And then there is a second Blu-ray disc, which contains Escape from Miami. This is sort of the big extra, like the show-stopping extra. The original pre-release version of Miami Connection, restored from its interpositive. I haven't heard much about the difference between Miami Connection and Escape from Miami. I believe the ending is different, but I don't know many of the details, so I have not had that spoiled for me as of yet. But I don't believe they're too different, but it's nice that they found the other version of it, just to, for completists. Because Miami Connection, yeah, it's up there with The Room and Birdemic and all those type of movies, is just a super, really fun, enjoyable movie that is not good of its own volition. And then here's a catalog title I picked up at a discount because I had not gotten it prior, and that is The Fear, which is about this like giant wooden mannequin thing that comes to life. I've heard mixed things about this, but I figured they still have the slipcover in stock. It was released like over a year ago, I think, at this point now. I might as well pick it up while they still have the slipcover, and things were selling out like hotcakes during the sale. Plus, Wes Craven has a cameo at the beginning, so that's always good. I know there's a sequel to this, but I think the sequel may have been shot on video, and Vinegar Syndrome doesn't really shot on video stuff, only stuff that was shot on film. Though I guess a partner label could always swoop in and do it. But let's see, on this one, it's restored in 4K from the 35mm negative. It's got a commentary track from the director, commentary track from the executive producer. These are 2 separate commentary tracks. 50-minute making-of documentary with interviews of the cast and crew. So, not super crazy on the extras department there, but, I remember seeing this video cover in video stores, but I've never seen this movie before. Most of these are blind buys, but I'll point out the ones that I have seen. And let's see, we got packet. Oh, this bubble wrap contains nothing except Thriller. So, this sold out before the end of the sale, which I was very surprised about. But this is Thriller, A Cruel Picture, the boxed version of it. So let's see, we got there. That's what all this looks like. And then this is kind of like the hard box, much like Scanner Cop set was with the two in here. So if you're not aware, there was a little bit of a kerfuffle earlier this year where Synapse, or Synapse, sometimes I pronounce it Synapse, even though I know Synapse is the correct pronunciation, they had a very old master from a DVD that they had released a while ago, so they released a Blu-ray earlier this year, which seems to not be licensed. It seems like their license had run out, but they still pushed this out anyway before this could come out. There was somebody did a lot of legwork, and on the Blu-ray forums they put the details of, you know, who owns what and when and where the contracts were, because there were different like rights holders and everything. But the point is, Synapse took their version off the market for sale. I think you may be able to still find their versions when Synapse sets up a table at like a convention to sell out old stock. But it looks like Vinegar Syndrome did have the rightful valid title. And of course they put it out in a nice package with an alternate cut and 4K and all that good stuff. So let's take a look at this. But yeah, this box version, this sold out before the end of the sale. I think they had sold out like 50% of them during the flash pre-order in the months leading up to the halfway sale as well. So then they just put up this version for sale, which is just the slipcover version that doesn't include this. So what is this? So this is, I've heard about this movie for many years, but I've never seen it. It is basically a rape revenge film, and it was probably most famous to normies as a film that was inspired part of Kill Bill, especially the Daryl Hannah character from Kill Bill who has an eye patch, albeit hers is white. But this is the slipcover for disc 1 at the front. The back, first they took her speech, then her sight. When they were finished, she used what was left of her for her own frightening kind of revenge, and banned by Swedish censorship. And if you're banned in Sweden, you know something hardcore is happening. So, and literally hardcore, because hardcore insertion shots were added to this movie, I guess ostensibly to make it more commercial? I don't know. So we got the 4K of that. And let's see, on here there is the uncut festival version of Thriller from the original 16mm negative. There's also a bunch of sound options, the Swedish original language, the English dub, commentary track with author and critic Alexandra Heller Nicholas. And then there's also a Blu-ray disc, which also has Thriller, A Cruel Documentary, a newly produced 43-minute making-of documentary, featuring narration from writer-director Bo Arne Vibinius, I believe is how it's pronounced, and then on-camera interviews with the star, Christina Lindberg, the stuntman, actually two different stuntmen, and then a different actor. There's the original trailers and teasers for it. There's the original trailer and teaser for the non-hardcore version, which is called They Call Her One-Eye, which we'll get to in a bit, and the original trailer for Hooker's Revenge, which I believe is an alternate title for this. Another alternate title for this, I may be mistaken on that. But yeah, this is from 1973, by the way. So, this version, so this disc with this slipcover, still available from Vinegar Syndrome. But the box is not, and then this disc is not. This is the cut that is called They Call Her One-Eye. And it has the same sort of verbiage on the back with a slightly different picture. It still has the banned by Swedish censorship logo in there. I'm surprised they didn't make that a pin to sell. And so, let's see. This has the They Call Her One-Eye cut. It's the English dubbed version, so it doesn't look like they had this cut in the original Swedish. But it's restored from the 16mm camera negative. And let's see. It has an interview with filmmaker Adrian Garcia Bagliano from 2017. Let's see, there is an interview with Christina Lindberg in Paris by Christian Valor from 2015. There's an Alamo Drafthouse Q&A with Christina Lindberg. That's from November of 2017. November 11th, Treaty of Versailles Day. That was in Austin, Texas, one of the flagship Alamo Drafthouses. Behind-the-scenes gallery, publicity image gallery, artwork and press gallery, radio spots, outtakes, Rare Christina Lindbergh music tracks from her 7-inch single. And then a Saab commercial that was directed by this director of the movie. Sure. So this is 90 minutes, and then the uncut version, let me just check that, is 108 minutes. So we're looking at an 18-minute runtime difference, but I don't know what else makes these movies different, aside from the fact that the Thriller cut has those hardcore inserts, and has a Swedish language version, if you prefer subtitles. And this one doesn't have the hardcore, so this is just sort of like the R-rated version, I guess. But yeah, I've never seen the film. I've heard people complain that most of the action scenes are all in slow motion, which is certainly a choice. But I've heard enough about it over the years that I'm happy to finally have a copy of it, especially in 4K with, all of those great extras and everything. And then the final bubble-wrapped package, which I think is just going to have the bulk of the catalog titles that I picked up. Let's go big to small. First, Forgotten Jolly Volume 3. Now, I'm not the biggest Giallo fan. I do have Volume 2, because I believe it was part of a flash pre-order I had gotten before, and Volume 4 was not discounted yet. But I decided to get Volume 3 because it was discounted, mainly because I'd heard that this was the best of those box sets so far. Some people have said they like 4 more than 3, but I think universally everyone else has said that 3 is their favorite. Some people like 2. I've heard mostly negative things about 1, but I figured I should probably give this one a shot, especially because I've heard very good things about the first movie in here, Autopsy. In fact, I think before this box set came out, a lot of people were thinking Autopsy might be its own solo release from Vinegar Syndrome. We also got Murder Mansion and then Crazy Desires of a Murderer. So let's take a look at everything in here. I got the normal, 3 boxes set here. So first with Autopsy, get around the glare here. Let's see, it's restored in 2K from the 35mm negative, has both the English and the Italian dubbed soundtracks. There is a archival theatrical introduction by the director, that's interesting, an interview with the editor, an interview with Francesco Crispino, a film historian and son of the director, and then a featurette on the career of the director, as well as original trailer, alternate Italian titles and credits. So this is the one I've heard mostly good things about. And then Crazy Desires of a Murderer, which certainly is a title, but, Jolly are known for having really good titles. Let's see. Try to avoid the glare there. This is scanner restored in 4K from the 35mm negative. The only extra of note is an interview with one of the actors. So, kind of a little almost bare bones on that one. And then Murder Mansion, which kind of reminds me of Maniac Mansion, that great video game. Let's see, this is restored in 4K from the 35mm negative, has the original Spanish, that's Spanish Giallo, the original Spanish language soundtrack, and with new English translations, as well as the English and Italian dubs. The Italian dub is not translated, it says in parentheses, so I guess that means it's just transliterated. Let's see, Lady of the Mansion, an interview with one of the actresses, and that's it, so not much on that one. Autopsy gets the bulk of the extras, probably because people have been saying it's the best of the box set, but why not? By the way, I only actually bought this as an afterthought because Vinegar Syndrome sent out an email that was like, hey, if you spend such and such amount of money here, you'll get a $10 coupon for Partners Only month in June. So I did that, and then I got the $10 off thing. Though I did also end up getting the halfway subscription as well, so I also get that discount, but $10 was more than the halfway subscription took off for Partner Label. Partner Label ended up only getting off $7 to $8 on regular releases, so obviously the 10 was more, so since you can only use one coupon code per transaction, I had to do multiple transactions, but that's all good. Alright, let's see what else we got. So, well, let's do this. So, this was a legacy title that I did not have, or catalog title rather, but they did give it a new slipcover, so I decided to pick it up, and that is Hobgoblins, the famous Hobgoblins. So, my history with Hobgoblins, because I have seen it before, when I was a kid in elementary school, I went to one of my friends' homes for their birthday party. And they had talked up that they owned like all of these horror movies, like your Friday the 13th, your Nightmare on Elm Streets. Then I get there, and I find out that that was a lie. His mother specifically said that they had some episodes of Freddy's Nightmares, but they didn't have any Nightmare on Elm Streets. But, so he tried to show us two different movies. One was this movie called My Science Project, which I've never seen in completion. And the other was Hobgoblins. So they put Hobgoblins on. We didn't really watch it. They just kept it on in the background. But that was technically the first time I had heard of or seen Hobgoblins. And then a couple of years after that, it was on Mystery Science Theater 3000, and then later on Riff Tracks has done it. So I've seen it a number of different times. So now I will own it in its pure form. So that's the new slipcover, and this is the stuff. This is Rick Sloan, who made this. He also did Vice Academy 1 through 6, I think he did all of them. Blood Theater, which was terrible, and then Visitants, which was pretty fun. Hobgoblins is kind of fun. The puppets for the Hobgoblins are pretty not articulated, but this is one of those so bad it's good movies as well. Anyway, on the extras here, it's restored in 2K from the original 35mm negative. There's an archival commentary track by Rick Sloan himself. There is a making-of featurette, Hobgoblins Revisited, brand new interview with the Hobgoblin Creature Fabricator. There's a Hobgoblins The Making of a Disaster Piece featurette, and Hobgoblins Invade Comic-Con featurette, plus a trailer. So, I don't know, it's been a long time since I've watched the movie without any type of riffing, but I figured, why not? If they're going to do a slipcover for it, I'd been sort of thinking, like, eyeing about buying it anyway, because it is such a fun, silly movie, so I just pulled the trigger because of that. And then, this was one of the halfway titles, so the new titles, but this wasn't a secret going in. This was actually a double feature, which I like when they do that. So it was Horror High. There is something evil out there, possessed by a force that doesn't belong to this world, and it's going to kill me. No idea what this movie's actually about. And then Stanley, which I know is about a guy who can train and control killer snakes, so kind of like Willard, but for snakes instead of rats. It says, caution, persons suffering from herpetophobia, fear of snakes, should consult their physician before attending. Can you imagine bringing this into your doctor's office, your psychiatrist's office or whatever, and being like, yeah, this label said I should consult you before watching it because I'm afraid of snakes, so what do you think? Probably laugh you out of there after cashing your check. Tim has a pet rattlesnake. When Tim gets mad, Stanley gets deadly. So I guess Stanley is the name of the snake, and Tim is the leader there, or the controller. And then the copy without the slipcover is kind of both the half and half. What is Horror High about? A chemistry nerd is the target of non-stop bullying. His only true friend is his class guinea pig, Mr. Mumps. Conducts an experiment using Mr. Mumps. Formula turns the harmless creature into a snarling beast. So this is about a killer guinea pig. Okay. Apparently it's restoring all of the bloodshed denied too extreme by the MPAA. The MPAA forced them to cut their killer guinea pig movie. Kind of a little bit more interested in it now, because Horror High sounds like it's some sort of high school slasher thing, and I knew the movie was not a slasher, it was in the early 70s, or even a proto-slasher, but... So killer guinea pig and killer snake, interesting. Anyway, as far as this goes, for Horror High, it's restored in 2K from the only known fully uncut 16mm lab print. There's a commentary track with the lead actor. There's a brand new interview with that same actor. There's an archival interview with that same actor. There's an interview with the screenwriter, and an interview with a different actress, an interview with a different actor, and multiple television spots, plus the trailer. For Stanley, it's restored in 2K from the 35mm negative. There's a commentary track with the screenwriter. There's an extensive making-of documentary with interviews with the cast and crew. There's a Q&A from a screening at the New Beverly Cinema. That's Quentin Tarantino's. They only show movies on film there. Next time I get to go to LA, I hope I can catch a screening at the New Beverly, whenever that ends up being. And then there is a featurette exploring the locations called Stanley Revisited. So, interesting. I'm probably a little bit more interested in watching Stanley, the snake movie, than Horror High, the killer guinea pig movie. But either one of these, or both, could end up being quite fun. And then a couple legacy titles that I just bought of their own. First is The Children, which is one of those, killer kids movies. I know it's a Troma acquisition, but it's not a Troma-produced film. So it's sort of like Village of the Damned. I believe that's the closest comparison I've heard to it. But as time has gone on, I've had my eye on it, and I've passed over it on different Vinegar Syndrome sales. But I've just heard so many good things about it, as far as like movies in the Vinegar Syndrome catalog, that I finally just pulled the trigger on it. Anyway, this is restored 2K from the 35mm negative. And best surviving theatrical print, so that's a combination of both. So maybe there were some prints or some other stuff that was missing from the negative, or negative was damaged, I'm not sure. There's an audio commentary with the director, an archival audio commentary with the producer / co-writer, new interview with that producer, co-writer, and the production manager, produced locations featurette, a lot of location featurettes on the ones I bought this time. Let's see, there's an audio from a lost scene. That's interesting. An archival video interview with that same producer co-writer, an archival featurette with that producer co-writer as well as 2 other people involved, archival featurette, another one, and then The Children the Musical, an archival interview with the co-creator of the musical rendition of The Children, so it was adopted into that. So, speaking of that, one Troma acquisition I've always wanted to see Vinegar Syndrome put out was Cannibal the Musical, the movie made in college by the South Park guys. The rumor I've heard is that the negative of that movie is lost. And I don't know how many theatrical prints exist of it to actually do a scan or whatever. But I heard that's the reason why Vinegar Syndrome hasn't gotten that yet, because that would probably be a pretty big title for them. It's that the negative is lost. Prey. I don't know much about this movie. I just know it's like about a human like fox or something hybrid. Yeah, an alien fox creature, and it looked like a best of the worst movie from Red Letter Media. So I thought, why don't I take a shot at this? So restored in 2K from the negative, commentary track with the director and one of the actresses, an interview with the director, an interview with that actress, and then an interview with a different producer plus a trailer. So. Nothing too busy there. But yeah, it's I know it's a sci-fi film, but supposedly it has like horror and like erotic kind of stuff in it, or erotic undertones. I don't know. It just seemed like fun. It was giving me big Night Beast vibes when I looked at it. So, and then Snapshot, which despite the cover is not a porno to the best of my knowledge. Yeah, for some reason I kept thinking I had this movie, but I didn't. I think I kept confusing it with Double Exposure, which I do have. But this seemed interesting, sort of a someone getting stalked type thing. So kind of what was that movie? Not Close Up. Peeping Tom, something with the camera. I thought it was kind of be like that, but this is apparently an Australian movie, Ozploitation. Anyway, this is scanned in 2K from the 35mm negative. There's a commentary track with the director, the producer, the lead actress, and the cinematographer. There's an alternate feature-length Australian cut, not sure how that differs. An interview with the producer, in extended interviews from the Not Quite Hollywood documentary. Don't know what that is, because the documentary is not on here. Multiple TV spots, behind-the-scenes gallery, and the original cover artwork by Speed Blur, which I guess is the Traverse site. So that is the damage. That is everything I picked up in the halfway sale. Because I have been doing these Vinegar Syndrome sales for a couple of years now, the catalog that I don't own is getting smaller and smaller. I don't own most of the porn, so there's that. But aside from that, I'm starting to already kind of own most of what they have now, and especially as I did the halfway sub last year, I did doing the halfway sub this year, so I'm also getting like a lot of stuff that way. So as time goes on, my purchases from these sales should get shrunken and shrunken, or smaller and smaller. But we'll see how it goes. But that's everything I got this time. So what did you get? And if you like this video, feel free to, thumbs up, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the stuff the good YouTubers ask you to do. If you're interested in those friggin' podcasty type videos that I'm putting out, which are really just kind of audio files with still images, feel free to go back and look at those, because I'll be able to churn those out a lot faster. But otherwise, yeah, have a good day, everybody.